Good day and welcome to this week's edition of Tourismus Namibia. Obviously, we will bring you again topics. Then we've got a couple of destinations, and at the end, we've got a slot that has a to the point segment. My name is Frank Steffen, as you can see there on the screen, and I'll be taking you through the show. First up, we obviously have topics. Okay, so this week we start off with rhinos. Poached rhinos, rhino poaching, whatever. So we've got 47 rhinos that have been poached in Namibia this year, of which 32 carcasses have been found in the Etosha National Park alone. According to the spokesman of the Environment Ministry, Romeo Muyunda, 33 black rhinos and 14 white rhinos have been poached. He said that of the 47 rhinos poached so far this year, in addition to the 32 in Etosha, 8 black rhinos were poached on farms under the Rhino Conservation Project, 6 rhinos on private farms, and 1 in the Kavango Region. Less than a month ago, on 13th May, the ministry official poaching figure stood at 38. So Muyunda also confirmed that 1 elephant was poached in the Kavango East region. This is obviously a sad development. It's something that we really don't need. We've been doing well on rhinos. Obviously, we've been talking about it. We've been advertising that fact. And so at the end of the day, you see that people suddenly think that they need to take it to the next level and start poaching again. So it's actually a great shame that we have to register something. So those are rhinos this week. Let's hope we get that under control and fast. Because I was at the Kazakh Heads of State Summit last week. And I must admit that the presidents of the Kazakh states actually take quite a serious approach on poaching. And more you can hear that even Namibia and elsewhere are seriously considering having armed units who fight, especially because these people are armed and they fight the system as well. Right, and then we've got the SADC visa, and that was exactly what the Kazakh summit also looked at. Namibia risks falling behind its regional peers and losing its competitive edge as a tourist destination if it adopts a more restrictive visa approach. The Southern African Development Community's Business Council Tourism Alliance has expressed grave concern over Namibia's proposed restrictive visa regime, which could severely hamper the country's tourism industry and economic growth. This policy shift appears to contradict the Namibia Airports Company's recently launched air access strategy, Air Connect Namibia, aimed at increasing international flights and connectivity. The implementation of stricter visa requirements could have a detrimental impact on various sectors of the economy, including tourism, hospitality, transportation, and retail, all of which rely heavily on international visitors, it said. Evidence from across Africa, including success stories from Rwanda and Zambia, demonstrate that visa liberalization significantly boosts tourism, foreign investment, and overall economic growth. A more open visa policy attracts a diverse range of visitors, including business travelers, investors, and tourists, obviously, and who contribute to the economy through spending, job creation, and tax revenue. And like I said, I was up in Livingston last week. There they're looking at the Kazakh Uni visa. The visa is then intended for us to be able to have anybody land in one of the Kazakh states, Angola, Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, where they will have applied for one visa, which is then applicable for each of these Kazakh states, and they can re-enter into that other country if they go back. Now, the presidents were very clear. This will not be discussed anymore. This will happen. So I hope that somewhere along the line, our cabinet then reverses its decision, because it's one thing to be right, but it's a totally different thing to still be on the losing side. And so what we find is that competing countries such as Kenya, they've got an open door policy for every visitor, so no visa required. And we suddenly bring in visa restrictions simply because we want to prove some form of reciprocal agreement that is not being honored. I feel there are different channels how we can address that. And so I think the worst thing we can do is step up our visa requirements. Right, Ultimate Safaris Trust is up next, and this is obviously, we've spoken about these people before, but in this case, the Ultimate Safaris Tribe Trust has announced that it has made a profit of approximately 500,000 Namibia dollar, $500,000. The trust, initially created in 2022 in preparation for the gifting of the shares from the 2023 financial year, so a group of 10 Ultimate Safaris Tribe trustees be paid dividends totaling 140,000. Dividend declarations are guided by Ultimate Safaris conservation dividend policy, conservative dividend policy. The policy dictates that 30% of profits are declared dividends, with the remaining 70% to be reinvested into the company and building resilience for future calamities. This means the profit for the trust shareholding was approximately 500,000 at this stage, and the trust was created to reward long-serving tribe members who have been with Ultimate Safaris for over 10 years. Close to 10% of the staff is currently benefiting from the trust, which is expected to grow to 15% this year. You will remember that I think last year sometime we also reported on it, and we thought it was quite a nice idea that Ultimate Safaris, which is obviously quite, one of the bigger tourism organizations here in Namibia, when they decided to create this trust and where they literally give out shareholding to their employees, trying to keep them on longer than they've already been on the system and thereby reward them for loyal service. So I think it's a great idea to see that it's actually working. Right, up next we've got destinations.
The Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, in collaboration with the Namibia Tourism Board and the Ondonga Traditional Authority, will be hosting the Itotha Carnival at the Kangonde Sotpan in the Oshikoto region from 27th June to 1st July 2024. Expect a fun-filled weekend including traditional dishes, cookout competitions, totem parades, traditional games, horse riding, skydiving and quad biking. Accommodation facilities will be available at cost. The Itotha Carnival, celebrating our ancient heritage.
Yeah, today we're talking about the Kayova River Lodge. This is one of our lodges that's also listed as an Enjoy Lodge. Here on the map you can see it's actually not that far from Rundu, so you would go from Windhoek up to Rundu. It would take you obviously some time to get there, but then obviously you wouldn't only drive there for a weekend. This is obviously something that you do if you go to the Kavango region. And so it's nestled in the heart of the Kavango region, and Kayova River Lodge overlooks the Kavango River, as you can see here. And you can actually see it's not far from the main road, so it's literally just down to the river or to the lodge itself. And the lodge features panoramic views of the surrounding nature, as you can see here. I mean, this is just beautiful. And like I said, I've just been up there again last week or the week before, and this is beautiful country. I mean, I will not lie to you, some of these photos have obviously been taken during a time when they had more rain, but generally speaking, it just remains a very, very beautiful countryside. And we obviously have a video for you as well.
Welcome to Kayova River Lodge, where every moment is a symphony of tranquility and adventure. Begin your journey with a warm welcome at our reception area, where the rhythm of the river meets the harmony of hospitality. Let our friendly staff guide you to your sanctuary of comfort and luxury. Indulge in the comforts of our charming bungalows, where thatched roofs and panoramic views create the perfect backdrop for relaxation. From cozy chalets to luxurious tents, find your home amidst the beauty of nature. Savor the flavors of Africa at Kayova Steakhouse, where every bite tells a story of tradition and taste. From succulent steaks to savory pizzas, indulge in a culinary journey under the African sky. Discover the soul of Kayova River Lodge in our communal areas, where laughter mingles with the rustle of the river. Relax by the poolside, gather around the fire, and create memories to last a lifetime. Dive into bliss at our refreshing swimming pools, where the shimmering waters beckon you to unwind and rejuvenate. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Kayova River Lodge, where nature's symphony plays on. Book your stay today and let the rhythm of the river guide you to moments of magic and wonder.
Right, and that was Kayova River Lodge, not to be missed. I think it's something that you should put on your calendar somewhere. If you go up to into the Kavango region, you should surely not miss out on Kayova River Lodge. It's very nice, especially, like I said, because it's close to the road. So if you travel on, obviously you don't have a long access road to first go out again. Right, and then we're looking at Hotel Thule here in Windhoek today. Hotel Thule, we've obviously had that one before, but from time to time we try and show you once again who we have on our system, especially seeing that they're also part of our Enjoy strategy, where we try and promote the single lodges. And it's only located a 5-minute drive away from the center of Windhoek. In fact, it's just up the road from us here at Namibia Media Holdings. And so Hotel Thule is located on a hillside, as you could see there just now on the map, and offers magnificent views over the city. This is the typical view that you've got from their main dining facility. Now in the summer, they'll actually open those windows and you've got the great view and a nice little weather to enjoy. In the winter, they obviously close it up, and then they've got these heaters inside. This is towards the other side, so looking more towards the northwest, I would say. But it's a very beautiful hotel, lots of offerings there. So if you come to Windhoek, definitely a very, very nice stay. And we obviously have a video for you.
Welcome to Hotel Thule, where reality meets imagination at the edge of the world. Perched high above the city of Windhoek, this unique retreat offers unparalleled views, exclusive comfort, and genuine Namibian hospitality. Step into a world of elegance and warmth as you enter our welcoming reception area. With sweeping views of the city below, Hotel Thule invites you to experience the true essence of luxury. Discover the epitome of comfort and sophistication in our spacious and elegantly furnished guest rooms. From cozy retreats for a quick business trip to extensive family holidays, each room is designed to ensure a memorable stay. Embark on a culinary journey at our in-house On the Edge restaurant, where international cuisine meets Namibian flavor. With spectacular views of the city as your backdrop, every meal becomes an unforgettable experience. Dive into relaxation at our pool area, where you can soak up the sun and unwind amidst the stunning scenery. Whether it's day or sunset views, the poolside oasis at Hotel Thule is the perfect escape. Experience the allure of Hotel Thule for yourself and let us be your gateway to unforgettable moments. Book your stay today and discover why Hotel Thule is the ultimate destination for luxury and relaxation. Your journey begins here.
Right, and that was Hotel Thule, our two destinations today, Kayova River Lodge and Hotel Thule. And up next, we've got To The Point. Right, and today we're talking about NACSU. NACSU Director Maxi Pialui recently discussed Namibia's conservancy program for integrated transboundary landscape management at a panel discussion at the Kavango Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area Heads of State Summit. Like I told you, there were quite a number of workshops up there. And so here's a little recording that we can present to you.
We work very closely with our colleagues that are here from the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism. And that's how we based our partnership in terms of the way we go about implementing CBNR. So who are we in terms of talking about CBNR in our own context? It's our communal conservancies. You hear about conservancies, and there is a linkage in terms of the Zambezi region. I was just the other day listening, around 22 conservancies. Most of them actually come from Namibia in terms of that contribution to hazard. We also have community forests, and then we have our fisheries reserves that form part of what we call CBNRM. We also have other partnerships that I'll talk about later on that are outside and external in terms of trying to make sure that our communities' voices are also heard beyond Namibia and in the region, and not just in country itself. Just to share some of the numbers that we have in terms of these conservancies, we have around 87 of them. 2 of them are in national parks. The Kayova National Park that Mike just showed on the map is a big contributor in terms of the work that we do with those communities that are living in the park. And then we have one community that is on the coastal areas that also in the national park. We have around 46, and there could be more because this is data that I have from 2022. We do collect data, and sometimes it's a bit late. But as far as I know, from 2022, we have around 46 community forests, around 20 community fisheries reserves. Probably could be a little bit more by now. And then we have what we call tourism concessions. 19 of these concessions concessions that are in national parks, and we have around 23 conservancies that share some of these concessions. So these concessions could be tourism concessions, because that's where most of our incomes come from. It will also come from what we call conservation hunting, so it comes from hunting. We are very proud that we having communities that actually look after these resources. And we have what we call community game guards, around around 700 or more of them that actually work within this conservancy institutional framework to make sure that they look after the resources. And then I actually want to mention that because hunting forms a very critical part of the diversification of income to our conservancies, that we have around 44 conservation hunting concessions or contracts. I also just want to share, because I need to share what we think can be a lesson learned in Namibia. Governance is very key. We have very localized, organized governance systems from a local level, where you have conservancies having committees, or CBOs, as we know in Southern Africa, organizing themselves, to levels of, at the regional level, where we have regional associations. And learning from Campfire and from the Zambian Forum, we are now in a couple of weeks going to launch what we call our Community Conservancy and Community Forest Association. So that's a national association that we are going to form. Also, other issues that are very important to us is compliance. We make sure that these institutions are not there by themselves, but they comply, because they have to follow some legal framework in being accountable, not just to their members, but also to the institutions that they that actually created that enabling environment for them to operate. So they need to have their annual general meetings. We talked about yesterday, finances is a big one. The issue of financial mismanagement is something that is a big challenge with us that we need to address, and we are trying to address that. And then issues of just making sure that there is implementation and enforcement in terms of the management plans, whether it's at the level of the conservancies or also at some other levels, new institutional CDOs that are coming up, like forestry and fisheries and so forth. We are very we are very serious in terms of gender participation, so women are very key in these institutional mechanisms. We make sure that there is a strong representation of women because they are very close in terms of natural resources, so we make sure they are part of the decision making. We have the youth, especially in the area of some hazy, trying to make sure that our youth form part of the leadership when it comes to CDNRL. That's something that we also invest, working very closely with our universities, trying to mentor the future in terms of CDNR and making sure that they feel that care when some of us have born. We live by the motto of we need to adapt and manage our resources in an adaptive manner. So data and monitoring and evaluation is very key in terms of what we do. And one of the biggest achievements that I saw yesterday is that CASA is trying to implement SMART. And SMART now is also being introduced to our conservancies. We have already started doing that, for instance, with rangers that work with rhinos, outside parks. And so we are working very closely to make sure our community conservancies are also up to date in terms of making sure we are in par with technology. So that's what we're trying to do. Human-wildlife conflict, the elephant in the room has been there, will continue to be there. In Namibia, we have developed policies, and thanks to our government, we continuously try and review these policies, making sure that we have inputs from our communities, making sure that this issue is being taken seriously. So as a result, we have the insurance scheme that we call it an offset of human-wildlife conflict losses that we are experiencing in Namibia. It's not perfect, but at least it helps to make sure that communities believe that they can get some, they can get something for their losses. So it's something that I think we piloted, and we continue to see if it's working, looking at other avenues how we can make it effective. Wildlife crime, we are involved in a lot of the wildlife crime activities. Our conservancies are key. Our wildlife guards, or what we call community guards, are part of that. So yesterday or the day before, the park director mentioned that one of the biggest challenges that we have in terms of CNR, because a lot of our programs are very much donor-funded programs, the issue of sustainability is very key. In Namibia, that's a discussion that we had over years, maybe over 10 or 12 years, looking at, how do we address issues around sustainability? And I'm very happy to say that we have started, and we are trying to set up a conservation or community conservation trust fund that actually addresses a lot of issues, especially service provision coming from services that are provided by organizations such as ours, but also long-term looking at the sustainability of our conservancies. So we are very keen in terms of addressing some of those values. Maybe just to reflect a little bit in terms of the challenges. I think the challenges are challenges that are known, but I just want to emphasize that since Southern Africa has been really, really impacted over the years by drought. Namibia is one of those countries that are really going through a drought at the moment, a very bad one, to be honest. Water is so scarce now. It's not just for people, but also for wildlife, and that creates quite a lot of tension in terms of land use in conservancies. So the first thing for us that is very critical is to first make sure that there is food security. You cannot work with people that are hungry. And so that's why we really need to start looking at what is important going forward in terms of addressing a lot of our issues. If conservation cannot pay for bread on people's tables, then people will do other land uses, and that becomes a threat in terms of our natural resources. So I think it's
Right, and that's Naksu. Obviously, Namibia was well presented, and I must say something that was really nice. We sometimes always think that we're going backwards, and we always have a lot to say about how we're not good enough. And I'll tell you, when you're up there at CASA, whether it's a director, whether it's a minister, whether it is our heads of states themselves, you cannot believe how often Namibia is being cited as an example. They're doing this right, they're doing that right. We should follow that example, we should do this, that. Not to say that the others are only doing it wrong, but it's nice to see in how many ways we lead this sort of example, or lead by example. Obviously, there are a couple of things that we can learn from our neighboring states, and so the whole CASA experience for me, myself, was a very heartening one. And I would invite you to really, if you have a nice little tour organized, have a look at the CASA Park. That's obviously Kavango Region, park, which obviously spans 5 countries. And I must say the border points are actually very good. I experienced them as very friendly, very helpful. And talking of Zambia specifically, those people are just next level, I have to say. Right, and that brings us to the end of today's edition. We'll be speaking to you again next week. Until then, look after yourself and stay healthy. Bye.